Let me introduce you to my guest. I'm really happy to have him. Mark Steiner. So, audience, jump in here when the Oscars are Sunday night. The woman who was his assistant. That woman, appropriately, when the Screen Actors Guild Awards came up, you just came from the door, might show up at the Oscars on Sunday. This man, I think, he gave an interview to the Inquirer, as I understand. Painful, Paul?
You know, painful.
From the stuff that I see and things that have been said, that's where Lynn, I think, said, this is enough, and we've gone too far.
One that he didn't know was actually right.
Who brother? Then
Lynn should be able to have her moment in the.
I mean, I'm just sitting here wondering what the family did.
So, audience, basically, extraordinary talent that she is. What did you want? What he said in. I'm sorry,
logically, it is based on what they would believe together.
Won't look so holier than thou. Well, I can't imagine what.
It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to consume them. So
and you just trust that.
The response they were for this law firm. I mean, Christopher, we got to go to you.
Why get me?
It's an insult to the victims' families of that crime, regardless of his guilt or innocence.
Simpson has.
He has a he can use the trademark OJ.
That yes, from cashing in on his name.
Well, his name isn't really OJ. It's Orenthal.
Well, he was the juice, and everybody called him up.
Now, have you heard in California right now that's a slave exercise, whether they wanted their children to participate, it is voluntary. They've been teaching what?
I think the idea is great. I mean, to keep that alive. How did we all fall apart like that? And
starve them and beat them and throw them.
Reading. Some of us learn better from experiences, and if I can't empathize with
I think that diminishes.
Have a better understanding. We don't want to have
a diverse school. There's an Hispanic population. Christopher's point as well. All right, I've got. She's been placed in segregation for allegedly sending letters to Villy. And you guys are like silent.
Thinking about the OJ thing.
Well, or not, maybe not underage minors. It happened in Granada Hills with this teacher who was charged counts of unlawful sex with a minor, 2 counts of.
Who's to know what karmic connections we have that trigger, some sort of sexual.
Is it not just us, man? Yeah. What is it?
That hired the stripper. The mother hired.
Money was going.
I think that's a gray area.
That's why.
Monica Lewinsky for all of it.
To your first question, why is this still?
Monica and her lips. Fashion editors have going on called Fashion Takes Action. Yes. They think should take home the gold. Gina, we've got Gwen, and now you guys. I'll trade you Junior. Let's start then with Shakespeare in Love.
Loved it. Loved it.
I
wouldn't love was down.
He is so hot.
Now you got to tell us. There's go too passionate. Come on now.
Come on, they're actors. He's so hot. So you love it.
The blue coat turned me off.
The what?
The blue jacket.
She said he. But now this is what I want to know. How do people go? Okay, I want to make a movie that looks.
Which really works. It's filmmaking I've ever seen.
But you gave me a whole new respect. I mean, just the dirt and the completely. I don't know.
Mark, this was your pick for Best Picture?
Yes, definitely.
And tears are rolling down my eyes as a parent.
I do because of that total rise to power. And I didn't.
Right.
That was a hell of a picture. I was like,
in
there
comparison
was no...
to Saving.
Shakespeare in Love.
Shakespeare in Love.
Elizabeth.
Juicy.
No, African-American prosecutor. She's a young woman in the DA's office. And
Inspiration for that.
Yeah.
Name is a
daytime.
But I mean, you weave in every Christopher Darden. You wrote the words.
I'm
glad
and
they're tough. I think.
Well, I am a bit of issues of conscience. Do you do the right thing as a lawyer, as a prosecutor?
What would it take to get you back?
Well, doing some acting, Sunset Beach. Yeah.
This book, Trials of Nikki Hill, there'd be more. It was one of the guys. Oh, it was one of the guys.
Reading.
An audience.
By the way, I have to proclaim
her taking a pic. Amazing.
So wait a minute. This is so for a couple of months in the back of my
little baby. Who wants to talk? Okay, have you here. Hello, sir. You ready to talk? All right. Got questions? These folks know what. Hey, Dr. Laura.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Can I play with them?
He is so sweet. He was flirting with Dr. Laura. The book is now. You got the hardback. I've got the paperback. Someone asked me that book. Men do to mess up their life. What is the stupidest thing that Bill Clinton has done to mess up his life?
I'm not privy to everything anymore.
The chapter called Stupid Sex. Under the heading of sperm. The next time might be like in bed. Dr. Laura writes, think about the emotional, psychological, familial, financial, and so
with an orgasm.
Sentence.
Was Clinton guilty of stupid sex?
And let me just frame that a little bit. And there's an obligation.
I've heard your opinions on lots of things. Speaking of the daytime talk shows,
We have opinions.
So does that mean you disagree? Your son is Dr.
Always
Laura.
there and then go, just kidding.
What would I need to do to get one of the T-shirts? Now, and would I even have one too? Now, I do work. Is this? But what is
Not possessions. They are choices that they sort of misconstrue what I've said. In my family, that we are a family. My son's been home from school an hour and a half. I'm normally there when he walks.
It's easy to say, okay, here's what Dr. Laura's about. But was it true?
I mean, I think it was Clarence Page, who's a very liberal commentator, said I should be national.
And your lifestyle and all the rest of it, that's been a very easy place for people to go in and point.
Well, reward for righteousness keeps me centered, opposed to planting flowers. And, I don't mean that literally. I mean doing good deeds.
So we've had some moral dilemmas on the show.
And maintained the secret. I don't know. Doesn't that sound...
Did you read this Newsweek article? I just couldn't disagree with her more.
Why, you think the only way they saw it at home?
No. What matters is that her advice was you should move.
That there are certain personality developments kind of set the psychological world on its ear.
Radio, almost every day. It's like 98% or something. Not themselves, maybe, but the habits of their... Yes. You do?
Yes.
So you agree with Dr. Laura?